All right, citizens speak. Anybody wants to make any general comments, please come up to the microphone, please.
I still have more issues for comment.
I'd like to agree with Sean, and I hope that you guys support this. We're behind you on your board. Number one place in Pennsylvania, to raise a family. I mean, the less support we have from the police, for every 10 that move in, you get one back. And support the police less, for every 10 that move in, you get 3 back. Those numbers are going to change. Number 10 in Pennsylvania, number 50 in the nation. Then your taxes go down, your budget goes down, everything goes down. By supporting him, getting additional protection, more people move it. It's safer. More tax money. Budget goes up. I mean, the numbers make sense. And you can see he is doing a great job. The community feels safe. They are catching people. He has more people working for him. We can catch more people. Because unfortunately, the criminal element will never go away. How much of it do we want to stay here? The less people watching, the more come.
You actually can't know that, but that was one of the categories on that category where Cecil Township kept, we never dropped out. There was so many categories of what you had to offer the residents, like park systems and police and all kinds of things. And if you finally didn't have something, your name was dropped off. And out of 17,000 municipalities in Pennsylvania, everybody dropped off. Mount Lebanon dropped off. The Upper St. Clair dropped off, Swiftly, Fox Chapel dropped off. We were on the top because most of those things.
Numbers don't lie. I mean, there's a few things in this world that don't lie. Numbers are one of them, as long as an honest person did the numbers.
Ed?
Well, first, I mean, there's nobody disputing the fact that we want the community to be safe. We want everybody, to be safe. The board knows when I was going through my custody problems, I put you guys to work a lot of times. But, I mean, in all practical purposes, we have to be fiscally responsible to the citizens also. And my question would be is, to be honest with you, I think the 4.5% raise since you were sort of the spokesperson for everyone, is high. I mean, it's high. I mean, in a lot of respects, it's high as far as just what the average citizen gets as far as a raise goes. I know you cited 12 different municipalities, and I'd like to see that list. But the one question I had was, did you guys know when you were negotiating this contract that the police department would ask for 2 more policemen? In other words, did you know prior to or during the negotiation of the police contract that they wanted 2 more policemen?
Well, we always, I think, I can't speak for everyone, but you always keep that in the back of your mind. That's why we negotiated the pay bump. We would
explain that, DJ, because I think
the pay bump. Sean, I'll defer this to you. Can you explain the pay bump? And what I'll say first of all is that we were the only local municipality out of all those departments that you mentioned that had where you go from a probation type salary. Ours was 1 year, then you moved up. Everyone else was 3. We negotiated a 4-year pay bump. That will create savings for the first 3 years of that officer's career, first 4 years really, when they come in. So when they come in, they're going to be at steps. I think it starts at 75%.
And actually, too, because of the structure for longevity, it's really it'll take them 9 years to get, because it's the first 4 years they make 75. I'm trying to look, and I can tell you the exact percentage. I think it's 75, 80, 85. So 75% of their salary. So they don't come in at a base patrolman's rate they come in at 75% of the base patrolman's rate. Then the next year, they get bumped up to 80%.
It's 85.
I can get
That all sounds good number-wise, but what, I guess my question was, if you knew that Sean was asking for 2 more policemen, you could negotiate maybe a lesser of a raise to offset.
Well, we didn't really know that.
Well, I mean, why?
Well, but we thought, you have to go on what you can budget for. Okay? So the idea is, we knew that we were going to expand. We had to. The township's grown. Whether it's next year or 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you do have to make those increases. And that's why we looked at, and again, that's one of the reasons why there was a give and take on like that, on that bump. There was something that the officers understood, and they knew they wanted to grow. They wanted, obviously, more help, but it was something that we had to have. And we went from, and that affects a lot of officers now, currently 3 or 4, and then affects everyone else coming down the road. So there were some things that we took into consideration.
I mean, I can appreciate the offset with the pay bump, but I think you can negotiate a little bit less in the raise.
Well,
Offset.
I won't go into all the things, but there were other things that once it's all said and done, that we were able to, how can I say, there were requests that we would negotiate. Additional time off, things like that everybody asks for. Everybody comes in with.
We can ask for the world, and we got to
exactly
whatever it is. But the 4.5% it's going to just set precedent for. I mean, now if I'm a road worker, police get 4.5%. I don't want 2. I don't want 3. I want 4.
Well, we try to compare apples to apples. I think that when you're looking at whatever it is, you compare 2 of the same, and compare our public works to other public works, compare our police officers to other police departments. You have to be. That's the only way to make it.
I mean, you can compare that as far as the median wage goes, but you can't. But I'm talking about giving a raise in a particular year or in a particular contract.
Hey, and I want to clarify one thing though. The Shawns didn't ask for anything. We've asked him for the last year, what will it take to have 3 districts?
Oh,
Southport's like a city on its own. So he's not asking, he's responding that we ask him, what do you need to do this?
I understand that. Well, I'm just saying is that if you negotiate a little bit less of a raise to offset the 2 new officers' wage benefits, I think would have been more fiscally responsible for the city.
That's easy to say, that maybe you'll be there sometime negotiating too, but it's easy to say.
There were a lot of different things that went through the whole negotiations too, and you ever looked at the tier that we talked about, hiring new officers, and the fact that with the health plan that they have too, by being able to, if there's not money used out of that, then it gets paid back to the township. Those was one of your suggestions that you suggested. So we did listen to the residents to some degree too, and try to incorporate some of that. At the same time, trying to do what we could do to boost the salaries a bit, to make them more competitive so we didn't lose police officers. You don't want to train somebody for 3 years and then they say, well, look, I can make more gun in Worcester, Maine. They go to exotic high there. So it was a whole give and take through the whole process.
I appreciate that, and I know that I wasn't privy to all the information that you guys heard. But one thing I did want to throw in was Canonsburg takes 3.5% of their wage toward their hospitalization. So, I mean, if you would look at that over, let's say a 5-year period, say if our officers, when you do the new raise, start at $65,000, after year 5, they're going to make $81,000. That's a $13,000 increase after 5 years, which is going to continue into the next contract. Canonsburg, and over the 5 years, they would have paid $3,000 for their hospitalization. Versus Canonsburg, they would have paid like $12,000 total hospitalization. So I think the hospitalization percentage for hospitalization is very, very low.
One of the things that in negotiations that we spoke about were deductibles and illness. And then deductibles. The other thing that the police, the association took upon themselves when they went out and found the insurance vendor, the record, and actually Tom sat in that program, along with doing some other stuff. The savings was well over $40,000 annually. And this is something.
Wait, no, we don't even know that. That's 45,000 less than what we paid this year. I don't know if we could have kept the whole HSA. I don't know how much that would have gone up.
Yeah, that plan we knew was going
But,
away.
I mean, I can appreciate the savings, but if you would have raised at least to make it 3%, maybe for
But what I'm saying is that it was a negotiation, okay? For us to say, okay, we want this, this, and this, we had to get, there were things that we had to negotiate, if you will, right? Use the term in an explanation.
Plus, they keep walking in with guns and clubs. I've been shocked.
So that it wasn't, and like someone mentioned, it was 7 times that we sat down and we tried to brainstorm and come up with other ways that, we can offer this, and we tried. There were things that they wanted to have, but there were things that we needed to have, back and forth. So it wasn't a hold up or anything like that. It was just one of those things that there was a lot of effort put into it. And everybody goes in and asks for more, than something I learned a long time in contract negotiations. When neither side is happy at the conclusion, then you have a fair contract. And I think both of us sat across the table and they wanted more and we wanted more or less. And I think that we spent enough time trying to do the best thing that we could.
I have 2 more points. So you went to HSA to HRA, I'm not sure. I'm assuming it's like an FSA. I'll look at it when
We get the money stays in the account.
It's very similar.
Back to the,
Very similar. I'm assuming now that everybody else is going to follow suit
yes.
later on.
Yes.
And one last question. When you're going to tell microphones, are you using wireless or corded ones?
That's a good question.
They'll have to be corded.
Where's everything run to? As far as microphone and
One right here to the console.
On course.
so you're going to have a cord attaching everybody to that?
No. There's a cord. There's a microphone. jack
There's
right
a
here
little
in front of
switch that you
everyone.
can't see.
Oh, okay, so everyone has a break off here. Okay. I'm done.
I have some more questions.
Wait, we still have some citizens.
Oh, I'm sorry.